Hello. Hello over there.
Hello.
And welcome to With Wisdom, Embodying Energy and Embracing Seasons. My name is Sam, and I'm here with my co host.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabriela. Well,
And we are moving, thank you, Gabby. We are moving into the month of August.
mm,
Time flies when you're having fun. August is it the eighth? It's the eighth month in the year in
mhm.
the Gregorian calendar. Is that right? Yeah, it's a Gregorian calendar. And honestly, it's a bit of a mix for me right now, August. As we leave that fire energy behind and we move into earth, I'm really feeling the kind of heightened, heightened energy to a kind of feel for me right now feels like a bit of a sudden dip.
Mhm.
How's your energy shift right now? What's it feeling for you?
I'm very much with you, Sam. I feel like July for me is a month normally since my son was born of high energy because he's having
Mm,
birthday, so high energy in the sense he's finished school and sometimes you are trying to finish things at work, so it's like heightened in sometimes in a good sense, so
mm,
sometimes it's a mixed up, and for right now for me it's a mixed up of feelings, no, so gratitude, joy, but sometimes heartbroken for individual or my personal situations about the world. So I feeling like you are gathering and coming into a harvest mode of all this what you have lived or what I have lived, and digesting it and seeing no what comes from that, like the earth, no, when
mm.
everything comes to earth back again.
That transition thing, I think, is something that I've really been holding it in my mind over the last couple of weeks. And I think that, you mentioned your son, there's a changing of school years. And I think I think globally, we underestimate these periods of transitions for young people. In fact, several of my very close friends, or maybe my close professional friends as well, they've had young people who are in their lives who are moving from primary sort of early school to high school or secondary
Mhm.
school,
Mhm.
depending on where you are in the world. And for some, in fact, two of them said, Sam, I've been with this school for 13 years, 15 years, because their older children have gone through, and then and this is their younger one who's
Mhm.
now finishing. So there's this breaking of a relationship
Mhm.
for parents, for children, for teachers that's happening all over. This is in the Western world and in the UK in particular, because this is the end of a school year, is usually in July, um, which is actually a big period of transition.
Mhm.
And that period of transition, there's a huge amount of energy that's associated with that. Again, my girlfriends who've talked about this with me, there's the pride when they've gone off to their children's leavers assemblies. There's the remembering of seeing them like in their little photos, the first photo on the first day of school to the last photo on the last day of school.
Mhm.
The anger, I think, as well, that some might be feeling about some unresolved
Mhm.
challenges that have happened, that their children have also have to take that unresolved challenge forward in their life. And for the parents too, it's
Mhm.
about not using that to foretell the future. And I remember that with my own kids. And for me, that transition has played out big time with my adult children, because I've got adult children. I know
Mhm.
you've got a younger one. Although we only found out last month that our children have the same birthday, which is madness. But my older one has moved out of home, and I'm absolutely so happy for him. Lohan went to say, oh, I'm really happy for him that he's moved, but I'm also sad that I'm
Mhm.
not going to have him washing the dishes, helping me cook, chatting about stuff.
Mhm.
We would sit and watch movies together that nobody else wanted to watch in the house, and so there's that sadness as well. So I've got these huge kind of the emotional range for me right now
Mhm.
is very high, and then it can be very low. And you mentioned worldwide events. I don't think that we can, in good faith, not mention what's going on in the world, and the global trauma that is being felt. We too feel that.
Mhm.
We too are feeling that. And we too are having to resource ourselves to support ourselves to show up. Because for me, this is a personal viewpoint. For me, for I, I kind of feel it's my responsibility in breaking that word down into that whole. I know it's a jargon term, but the response and my ability, but that it is my responsibility to show up for the people who cannot right now show up
Mm.
and cannot stand up because for one reason or another they are being oppressed.
Mm.
So I feel it is my responsibility to do that. So I have to resource myself in this
Mhm.
month.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
any of that kind of ringing home for you or anything in?
Yeah, may I mention some things that are listening to you and reflecting back? No, so we have been talking about summer, no, and I have been sharing
Mm,
about the Chinese view and what you are sharing, which is very much the same experience of myself in different ways. It's this. Life is not black and white, no, and I think
mm,
when we go through life, no, consciously, which is my aim and is my aim in my work, that people can live more consciously in the sense of that we cannot be aware of all that everything exists on the same time. That is not either or, that I'm angry and unhappy and I'm grateful. It's this capacity of the heart of alchemizing. So we are talking about going from fire to earth, but both of them they help to to transform, alchemize, and digest the life situations together.
mm,
And it's this beautiful capacity of the heart of holding or hosting when we build it. Of course we need to practice it with love for ourselves and everybody to host and be a vessel for everything. So it doesn't
mm,
mean it has been my experience in life, as you said, this school and or change or transitions, most of them in our life is most of them are together with joy, expectations, but also grief. And this capacity
mm,
of grieving and accepting or naming
mm,
or building the emotional, physical, so the nervous system capacity to feel it, it's important. So I'm listening that and hearing that from you, this beautiful way of hosting or being in the heart, living from the heart with all this, what may seem opposites or not coming together
mm,
like the yin and yang, and then they meet together in the heart. And the other thing I'm hearing, it's then when you are capable of sharing like you were sharing, then you move to the responsibility, the capacity to respond, and the ability to respond. For me is linked to compassion. When I
mm,
understood that somewhere I listened to someone explaining that compassion is so empathy is the capacity to put yourself in the other's position and resonate or attune to that. But compassion can move us, and we are always, our capacity to respond is this person proposed unlimited, in the sense maybe you cannot respond everything in your capacity physically, but from your heart, and that's the alchemy from the heart, which is not linear and rational. You are always able to respond with your feelings, with your senses, with holding in the heart, and finding the ways in the practical world, in the material world, how can we be present even in the small things, how maybe we can or it's not the the area where we are active, like changing laws or things like that, but we can be good neighbors, we can be good with ourselves. We need to start with ourselves, with compassion and love. We can respond, we can choose to respond with love, patience, and compassion in situations that we in the past might have responded with anger. I was just sharing with you before recording. It might seem small, but my son yesterday night, since he was little, he didn't do that. He's 12 now, and he
Mm,
came like 3 in the morning. That didn't happen to me like long. He came to my room saying that he was hungry and then he wanted to eat. At the beginning, I was so disoriented, I didn't know it was 3 in the morning. But I remember myself back then, some years ago, where I was very overwhelmed and I had lots things going on. I didn't like sort it out my life interiorly, no. My response at that time was with not being patient and angry and not maybe yeah, I was waking up and giving some food, but not in with a good heart because I was feeling overwhelmed. Now I think the difference that I have put like order inside myself, that's part of this heart energy in my emotionality, that yesterday I was flooded with a deep love.
mm,
Felt so much gratitude that he can come to my room and that I can welcome him and I can offer something to eat. It was so, and I was reflecting, this must be the feeling when you go in deep service,
mm,
because motherhood is an act of deep service, and that's part also of
mm.
the art. And I leave it there, but I saw what it evoked what you were sharing.
No, it's beautiful, and he's very fortunate to have a caring and compassionate mother there. And take going back to the piece around the feelings and all the feelings that we talked just prior to recording. All the feelings that we are feeling, all
Mm,
the feelings that happen at this kind of peak of summer, and then we're kind of moving into the sort of late summer reflection piece. You mentioned two words. You said empathy and compassion. And there's another word I want to just share, and I haven't shared it. It just came to me. So there's
mhm,
also the sympathetic response. And I'm
mhm,
doing this when I say that word because in extending sympathy, we are quite very quick to extend sympathy to other people, but actually, maybe we start with extending some sympathy to ourselves.
mhm,
And that sense of, I'm feeling sad that my son is left home. It's okay. So it's a feeling of it's okay, and I can extend that sympathy to myself
mhm,
first and foremost, and then from there, then I'm going to build into that, and I'm going to take this through for myself here. Take
mhm,
that through the empathic piece of then reminding myself what it's going to be like for him, waking up in a new place, making new relationships, starting all that sort of stuff, and the joy that's going to be. I'm going to then come back. Eventually he's going to come back at some point, probably
yeah.
with his washing. No, he's not going to come back with his washing.
At three in
But
the
come
morning
back
for
at some
some
point to
food.
tell us about these things. Yeah. So we go from this sort of sympathetic response to an empathic response. And then there's something else. And then I think that then there's the compassion piece. And I'm not going to take this to my son's example. There is something around just extending this feeling to many we may not be able to support directly, but we can still extend that from our hearts out to others. And the more that we all do that compassionate thoughts and feelings in terms of our energy, the better for everybody around us. But I think it has to start with a little bit of
Yeah,
a sympathetic kind of, it goes here and then it goes out.
yeah,
So
I
that's that resourcing self first and then out.
yeah.
Fill
I,
your cup.
it's not only my thought, it's my experience because,
Mm,
and I then find why, for example, in the Bible, I grew up in a Catholic environment, so that's, although I confess I don't remember everything that the Bible says, but now that I'm a grown up, it makes more sense to me. So one of the commandments is love your neighbor like you love
love
yourself.
yourself, yeah.
And sometimes I feel like there's that wisdom there that if you don't know, and that was the deep calling I felt when my son was born, when I was in a deep chaotic time of my life. Not only outside was a reflection of a lot of trauma and things that inside was creating so much fracture and disorganization in that sense, no? And there
Mm,
was this calling. I had the willingness and the wish to love him like I felt this love yesterday night, but I didn't know how to love that way. And then in this like 12 years or even more, because it started a little bit before, it has been the realization I need to start by myself. Because if I don't talk to myself well, I don't know if your experience, but my inner critic and my inner voices sometimes are
yeah,
very cruel.
very
I
loud.
would,
Mine can be very loud.
yeah, I would never, I mean, I would never dare to
Mm,
talk to you or someone else like I
mm,
talk to myself. And then
mm,
I start to realize, wow, it's a matter of how I even, I mean, I'm learning to talk to myself with the same love and tenderness I want to
mm,
extend to my son. And it's like this, um, as in this Buddhist meditation of kindness and compassion, no? That you start by yourself, then you start to extend kindness and compassion to, forgive me people that know better how it is the name of this Buddhist meditation, but I did it sometimes. No, you start by yourself, you start by the nearest, like your son or something, then you start with someone that you maybe don't.
acquainted with. Yeah,
And then it goes in these
yeah,
widening circles. No,
yeah.
Rilke had a poem that is called about these widening circles. No, I live
Mm,
life in widening circles, and then I think Einstein also used this in a book about Buddhism and quantics. And he said, no, we should live in widening circles of compassion. Why
mm.
we when we remember that we are not separated from each other. But for remembering that, we need to start by the smallest particle. You see, like in physics, no? There is,
Okay, I'm gonna take this one.
yeah,
I'm gonna run with this bit. The smallest particle is the grain. It's like a harvest grain,
yeah.
and we're in August. And 1st of August, although this video will be coming out after that, is Lammas here in well, for people who kind of follow a pagan calendar or a Celtic calendar. So in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the harvest thing, you have
Mm-hmm.
that one grain,
Mm-hmm.
one seed that then creates this harvest. And the joy of harvest is a connecting with others. So you know your neighbours. So there's something about celebrating and sharing and making and breaking bread with other people, that whole thing. And that's coming definitely from I think from pre religion, but that whole kind of making and sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So part of all around when we're thinking in August terms and what's happening in this month, which
Mm-hmm.
is late, we're moving into late summer.
Mm-hmm.
There is something about that. Again, I'm using my hands all the time. Extending, it's the compassion, it's the sharing, it's the giving, and also the reflection piece, because there's the pause point as reflection on how has this harvest gone?
Mm-hmm.
What when we started our videos, we were back in March. What will we seeding then that maybe already have come to fruition now, or maybe still needs a bit more tending
Mm-hmm.
to be harvested at a later stage in our life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So harvest, I think, is something that is really present in my mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's my older boy going off and living independently for, yeah, he went off to university and what have you, but kind of making this first step feels to me like a harvest. It's
Mm-hmm.
the effort and the love and the hard work that my husband and I have put into supporting him, and the work that he's done to support him to be an independent person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank
yeah.
you.
So he's a harvest. He's our harvest. It's just come to me.
And you see, it's again linked not only with joy and gratitude and appreciation, but also grief. And it's okay.
Mm,
Like just like you
mm,
said, not this like tending to yourself this sympathy and say it's okay. It
yeah.
doesn't mean that you are not happy. It doesn't mean that you don't recognize or appreciate all these things. And I think harvest might be sometimes like this, yeah. And I feel
Yeah.
that it's a good point to let things here and people to invite people to reflect on that. What do you feel?
Mm. What do you feel? What's going on in your life? What sort of has come to an end right now?
Hmm. Hmm.
but in that coming to an end, you always have another seed. So,
Mhm.
if I took, I haven't got I haven't got, just going to just reach up and get something. I haven't got a sheaf, a wheat sheaf,
Mhm.
but I do have, it's a little lavender
Wow.
sheaf.
Mhm.
So this was platted together for me
Mhm.
probably about 6 years ago, and it
Wow.
sits above my notice board. And it was
Mhm.
done by friends. And these are lavender from my garden,
Mhm.
which it still has a scent of lavender. It hasn't lost it.
Wow.
And it's as I hold it, I'm
Mhm.
taken back to that day when she did this, sitting in my garden. It was a really hot day. It was in August, and
Mhm.
she platted these together. We'd harvested the lavender because I was going to pull off all the seeds to make wheat bags, like lavender bags. Yeah. So there's the little grains that remind me of all that time, and then
Mhm.
also of the potential for the future of
Mhm.
reconnecting with this person
Mhm.
or planting more lavender in my garden. Yes, does that make sense? So each of these feel like a little seed that is now going forward.
Yeah, totally. It brings me to the way we also weave our conversations with the people we have invited over with wisdom. No, it's the same
Mm,
feeling. Is this acknowledging and appreciating what has been and what you bring with you from the whole path and
yeah.
even from your life, like with your son, no, appreciating the whole experience of raising him and sustaining him. And now it's like a, you said at the beginning, a post point to acknowledge that, to recognize, to feel it, to sense it with care, with resources of sharing with others, or these things. And on the same time, looking forward and thinking about your intention. Actually, the spirit of earth in Chinese medicine is yi, and yi is linked with intention. What is your intention?
Mm,
Cool. It's a good moment. I mean, you can do it in a cycle of months or things, or even in a day. It's recalibrating after this digestion and feeling. Revisiting, what is your intention now? What is
mm,
in focus? How would you want to live this intention? And intentionality for me, it's a good resource in times when I feel again chaos or overwhelmed and tend to lose myself in feelings and experiences. It helps me to bring me back to earth.
I love that. Bring me back to earth.
Yeah.
That's a lovely point to stop.
Yeah.
Mm,
So thank you, everyone that watch us until here. It's an invitation to pause, to feel, to acknowledge, and recognize what you have worked, what you have gathered and harvested, and also digest and encounter your intention going forward. So this has been with wisdom, embodying energy, embracing seasons,
bye
and
bye
we
for me.
to follow us, to share it, and to, yeah, to be with us in this journey through the seasons. Bye
Mm,
bye.
bye.